Welcome to New Mexico Black Rifle Operators Union. I'm your host, Sean. So, to continue the series for the podcast for iconic guns, since I covered the Colt Single Action Army, before World War II, Colt discontinued the Single Action Army production. Westerns were hugely popular in the 1955 era, in the early days of television. Enter Ruger. Ruger started producing a single-action pistol, a single-action revolver. If you don't know what that means, you have to cock the hammer each time you fire the pistol. To load it, you have to drop the loading gate. First you have to half-cock this, drop the loading gate. Actually, you don't even have to do that. I'm sorry. On some of the older guys, you did. But you drop the loading gate, spin the cylinder, and load the cartridges. It'll hold 6. There is a half-cock safety on this. There's also a drop safe, like a trigger bar that blocks the sear, because the pin, or not the sear, it drops the firing pin, blocks the firing pin, because the firing pin is not attached to the hammer on the Ruger. Now, I've owned a Ruger 44 Magnum. It was my first pistol ever. It was stolen. It was one of the best pistols I ever had. And it's one that I'll probably get back, but I'll probably go with a 357. Now, my father had a 357 Magnum. What is awesome about the Ruger is it gave you the light look and feel of the Colt, but some more modern features. First, the sights on it were adjustable, where the Single Action Army only had a blade and a groove cut into the receiver, or the spine of the frame. This actually has a blade and leaf front sight, and it allows you, and it's adjustable. This doesn't sound like a lot, but it makes a big difference if you're trying to zero a gun. A lot of people say you shouldn't have to zero a pistol, but I'm a fan to tell you that if you're really trying to get accuracy, which you can out of these, you may want to adjust it just a hair. Because there's some variance in when they manufacture these guns. That said, the reason why I want a 357 is because the prepper part of me wants a 357 so I can shoot 2 different calibers from it. And truth be told, there was a point in time, there was a 9mm conversion for the 357's Ruger Blackhawks. I'm pretty sure that's still a thing. And you can get the Ruger Blackhawk in any caliber, any rimmed caliber. They even sell these in 30 caliber, like the M1 carbine. It is a very robust, kind of heavy gun, but it gets the job done. It is great for hunters, shooting sports enthusiasts, newbies. I wouldn't myself use this for home defense, but it could be used in a home defense situation if you had to, if this was your only gun, just like the Single Action Army could. The Single Action Army defended a lot of homes in its time. It became obsolescent or obsolete when it was single action. A double action version of this gun exists. It's called the Red Hawk. And the Red Hawk is capable of chambering the same calibers, can be fired in single action or double action as it's intended. And it has a cylinder that actually spins out like the Smith & Wesson's. Ruger has always been what I would call a working man's gun. You get what you pay for, and Ruger has always produced the goods for me itself. I've had several Rugers in my life, and I've never had an issue with a Ruger. My family has owned several Rugers in their life, and I'm not a Ruger shill. I carry a Ruger 380 LCP Max from time to time. I think that Ruger makes great guns, and this is an iconic gun. If you're in the know for firearms, you look at someone using one of these. There was a Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, I believe. He had one of these in a 454 Cazoo. Could it be done? Absolutely. Nowadays, the prices have gone up. There was a point in time you could get one for $300-400 when I first got my first 44 Magnum. Nowadays, they're a hell of a lot more expensive, closer to $850, $7. You can find used ones closer to $650. Depends on the wear. A lot of ranchers swear by these because they carry. They carry while they're on the range. You need something robust enough to drop a cow or to drop a coyote if it's getting too close to your animals. If you're deer hunting, and this is how I use my 44 Magnum. If I was deer hunting, I would take my 44 when I'd go to the bathroom instead of carrying the rifle if I was back at camp, or if I was going to get firewood. So instead of carrying a rifle, trying to carry the stuff in your hands, if you needed it, you had a sidearm. That's how I've always seen it. Now, I've hunted in bear country, and that's why I did a lot of that, was because, you know, I was told that there's bears there. Truth be told, though, I always knew I could hunt deer with it. In New Mexico, you can use a 44 Magnum for deer and elk, and that's what I wanted it for. As it was my first pistol, and I was a 44 mag fan at the time, and I didn't think you needed anything else but the 44 Magnum, this was the gun for me. I can tell you they are beefy. Compare it to a Colt, the frame on this is a lot more robust. The barrel profile seems to be a little more robust for sure. But the triggers are just as smooth, especially if you get to work on them. So this revolver, just like this Colt Single Action Army and a lot of the other guns I've covered on the podcast. To find the podcast, you can find it on any social media or any media podcasting platform. Videos are exclusively on Rumble for right now. I have a lot of pressure from family that are wanting me to try to use YouTube. I don't think my content, especially the gun content, would be very welcome there. I know my political content probably wouldn't because of my politics. You can find it on Spotify for sure. Like, share, subscribe, be great.